Hey, what is up people? This is Johnny and welcome to Pokemon Theory. And today's Pokemon Theory, we're going to be talking about why does Pikachu never go into Ash's Pokeball. And the second theory we're going to be talking about is the Pokerus and what is its origin. Since the beginning of the Pokemon anime, Ash has a Pikachu that never wants to go inside of the Pokeball. Why is the reason that Pikachu never wants to go inside of this Pokeball? Well, the obvious reason is that some Pokemon do not want to be inside of their Pokeballs like Pikachu. They feel like they'll be locked up in the Pokeball and they will never want to go back in that Pokeball. So his Pokemon Pikachu has always been like that. But there's a theory out there that maybe the reason why Pikachu doesn't go into the Pokeball is because Ash doesn't really own the Pikachu. Ever since he got it from Professor Oak, the Pikachu was registered to Professor Oak and it was never registered to Ash. Some things that may back up this is in the first episode. Even though Ash tried to put his Pikachu in the Pokeball, it would always refuse to go into the Pokeball. And as a trainer, even if you have the Pokemon's Pokeball, the Pokemon should be allowed to go into the Pokeball regardless if it does not want to go inside of it. But Pikachu never went inside of the Pokeball. Because that means to the conclusion that Pikachu doesn't really, the trainer is not really Ash's Pikachu. Because the Pokemon was given to him by Professor Oak, and Professor Oak was basically the owner before he had that Pikachu. So Professor Oak was the original owner and he managed to put Pikachu inside of the Pokeball. Now you can see that, you know, Pikachu is a really strong Pokemon. Pikachu was supposedly they were doing a research on Pikachu, believe Professor Oak was, and Professor Oak had that Pikachu because he was examining it, and it could have been possibility that it was a really strong Pikachu, but he would then give it to Ash because Ash needed a Pokemon even though he was pretty late to the professor's laboratory. So that's a possibility that's the reason why Pikachu will never go into the Pokeball, because Ash is not the real trainer that's registered to that Pokemon Pikachu's or its Pokeball. So that may be a reason why it always refuses to go inside of that Pokeball. But then again, we all know that the Pokemon Pikachu is obviously belongs to Ash because that's the Pokemon that Ash has, and he's been having it since his journey. So there's no doubt that it is his Pokemon. But let's say that the Pokeballs were in different style. The Pokemon would not go in there. Pikachu would not go into the Pokeball. But it listens to Ash, it likes Ash, but in any situation it will not go in the Pokeball. Now I know that there was a movie, the first Pokemon movie, where Mewtwo actually makes Pikachu go into the Pokeball, which is true, it did make him go into the Pokeball, but it wasn't Ash's Pokeball. Mewtwo was capturing other Pokemon from other trainers, which basically it wasn't even the owner, it was stealing the Pokemon from trainers. So that was probably the only time I believe that Pikachu went inside of the Pokeball. Other than that, it has never gone into the Pokeball. In the whole anime, the whole series, you will not see Pikachu go inside of that Pokeball. Then again, this is just another Pokemon theory and it really doesn't hold up to any real facts. So, and maybe in the anime, just Pikachu doesn't go into the Pokeball, and Ash, if he wants to, if he really wants to put Pikachu in there, he would be able to. Now for the next theory, we're going to be talking about Pokerus and where does it come from. Now what Pokerus is a virus that doubles the effort value of your Pokemon. It makes them more stronger in theory. Now this virus started to appear in Generation 2, but where does it come from? Many people have speculated that this virus comes from outer space, but that's not enough to support that this virus comes from outer space, because they're saying it comes from Deoxys and Deoxys started to spread it to other Pokemon. But I believe that Deoxys itself as a Pokemon can actually contract the virus of Pokerus, so it can't be from outer space in my opinion. The only thing they really have in common with the Deoxys is sort of similar colors to Pokerus, but that's not even very close to why Deoxys would make this virus from outer space. Now the other theory that I thought about is that sometimes in nature, like in our real world, there are viruses that come naturally, viruses that are good for our bodies that will make us more stronger. So could it be that they applied this to the Pokemon world? For example, the Pokemon have Pokerus, which it's a beneficial virus for their Pokemon, and that's probably a possibility. Another thing is that maybe in the Pokemon world, we know that there's so many scientists. There's a lot of scientists in the anime and in the games as well. Maybe there was a scientist that wanted to improve the abilities of their Pokemon, so they decided to come up with a virus that would actually double the effort values of the Pokemon that you use in the games. So maybe that's probably the origin of the Pokerus. I would say that one of those two would be the origin of this virus, because there's really not that much other stuff that they mention about Pokerus other than that. Now, Nurse Joyce does talk to you about the virus, but just tells you that it's a virus, that's what it does and stuff like that, but nothing else is told about where does it come from. Thanks for watching these Pokemon theories, and I hope you enjoyed it. Leave in the comment section what you think about these theories. Also, leave in the comment section what theory you would like to see next on this channel. If you haven't checked out some of my previous videos, make sure to click on those two boxes in the middle so you can go ahead and check them out.